Go. Okay, so number 10 gives us 23.5 feet. So remember, again, we're working with the circumference formulas here. Okay, so we're working with this one. So if they tell us that circumference is 23.5, we're going to go like this, 23.5 feet. Because remember, we're putting it in for the circumference. Okay. Okay, so 23.5 equals pi, we know is 3.14. Okay, times diameter again. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to divide both sides by 3.14. Divide by 3.14, divide by 3.14. Okay, that's going to get rid of it over here. And now I'm going to need somebody to do 23.5 divided by 3.14. Somebody can do that for me. Okay, good job. Comes out to be about 7.4. So we're going to say diameter is 7.4, and this was what? Feet, okay. And now to do the radius, remember the radius has to be half of this, right? Okay, so if we divide that by 2, we're going to get what? 3 point something, I think. There you go, 3.7. That looks good to me too. Okay, 3.7 feet. All right, let's move on. Now we're going to do 19. Now you do not have to draw 19. I'm going to draw it because it makes it easier, I think, for me to explain. But you don't have to draw it in if you do not wish to. Okay. All right, so 19, if you're looking in your book, looks kind of like the Goodyear blimp. Okay. Now, they want us to tell them the perimeter around the whole thing. All right. So we got to look at 2 things. First, we have straight sides, and then we have curved sides. Now, if you look at this, see how you have half a circle on this end? And then over on this end, you also have half a circle, right? So if we put those 2 halves together, that means we have a whole circle here. So we can use our circumference formulas. Now, if you look at it, you see on this end, it has like this little dashy line, and it has a 7 beside it. Can you figure out what is that little dashy line? Remember, this is a circle, even though the whole thing isn't drawn in. It's a circle. So that little dashy line comes from the center of the circle to the outside. What do we call that? Center to the outside is it's the radius. It is a chord, you're right. No, it's not a chord because chord has to be attached to both ends. Okay, but this tells us half the distance, so this is the radius. Why do we need to know that? So we know which formula we're going to use. So we're going to use the radius formula. So we're going to say C is equal to 2 times pi. Remember, we know that that's 3.14 times the radius. And they tell us the radius. They say the radius is 7. So I need somebody to do this problem for me. 2 times 3.14 times 7. Hey, Thomas. So 2 times 3.14 times 7. Okay, anybody do it for me? You got 43.96. All right, that looks good. Thank you. Now, they want us to tell them the distance around the whole thing. So we have to include the straight sides. And how many of them do we have? We have 2. So we have to account for 2 straight sides. So it's going to look like this. 30 plus 30, because those are the 2 straight sides. And then we found out that the curves are this. So plus 43.96. If we add all this together, it's going to tell us our final answer, which I think you can check me is 103.96. And what did they say this was? They don't tell us. All right, so it's 103.96. And that's going to be our final answer for that one. Okay, are we doing okay? All right, I'm going to start on the next one now. I've got to go to the other side of my paper here. All right, and again, I'm going to draw it. You do not have to. Just makes it easier for me, in my opinion.
Oh.
All right, you look something like this. Reminds me of the big wooden things they used to run cable on. All right, so again, we have straight sides and we have curved sides. But again, look what we have. We have half a circle here and we have half a circle here. So again, it's going to make a whole circle for us, so we can use that formula. Again, they give us from the center out. So from the center out to a circle, remember, is the radius. Okay, so we're going to use the radius formula. So we're going to say circumference C is equal to 2 times pi. Remember, it's 3.14 times what they tell us the radius is, which is 15. So after you get that down, I'm going to need somebody to stick that into the calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 15. $94.2. That looks pretty good. Okay, so let's go with that. 94.2. So now we have to add in the straight sides. They're both the same, right? So we're going to add 40 for both of them. 40 plus 40. Plus, now we're going to add in for the curves, 94.2. And if we put all that together, again, somebody double check me, but I think it comes out to 174.2. I'm going to cheat and look at my book. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we're good on that one. Everybody still doing okay here?
Yes,
All righty.
ma'am.
Last of the shape ones, 21. And again, you can draw it or not, whatever you wish. Okay, this is what it looks like. This one's easy. We don't even have to use a formula because there aren't any curves, so we don't have to worry about them. All we have to do now is just add up all the way around the outside. So we'll take this guy first. So 5.5 plus 13 plus 6 plus 6 again plus, they don't tell us this one, but we can look at it and we can see that it's going to be exactly the same as this one. So for this guy, we're going to add in 13. And now all we have to do is add them up to get our final answer. There you go. Good job, Thomas. 43.5. Okay, everybody feeling okay about that? We're almost done. We get to go to the green section next. So Jeremiah, you should be happy. We're going to do the green section. Okay, let's go to the green section.
Woohoo.
And in the green section, we're going to start with 44. And I'm just copying the problem down now. You can copy it straight out of your book. Remember, this is page 513. 513. And this is one of our old kinds of problems. We've done a lot of these already. Okay, all right, so let's get started. What are we going to have to do first? See this? That means we're going to have to distribute. So we're going to bring the 14x down equals, now I'm going to distribute. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times -2 is -8. And now that's what it looks like. Now I want to get my x's all over here. See, I got them on both sides. I don't want that. I want them all over here. So I'm going to move the 4x. It's a positive number, so I'm going to subtract it, because remember, subtracting and negatives are the same thing. So I'm going to subtract to move it over here. So over here, 14x minus 4x is going to give me 10x equals, remember, they cancel out over here, and I bring down my -8. So that's what I have now. All right, now, whenever I get to this point in equation, what do? I divide by whatever's still sitting there next to my variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10, both sides by 10. I get x is equal to -8/10, but remember, I have to reduce it. I can reduce it using a 2. So this becomes, it's still negative, that's not going to change. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, everybody hunky-dory? All right, let's go. Let's do number 45. We only got 2 more, almost there. All right, so 45 looks like this. 3 times 2x minus 5 equals 4x minus 10. So there's my problem. 3 times 2x minus 5 equals 4x minus 10. Okay, now let's look at this. See this here? Remember, what does this mean? This means I'm going to have to distribute. I'm going to have to do 2 multiplication problems. So 3 times 2x is going to give me 6x. And 3 times -5 is going to give me -15. Now on the other side, I don't have to distribute, so I can just bring these guys straight down. Okay, now I'm going to start to combine. I'm going to move my 4x over to this side. How am I going to do that? Again, it's a positive number, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. Now over here, 6x minus 4x is going to give me 2x. I bring down -15. He just comes straight down. Equals, now on this side, I got rid of my 4x's. So all I have left is a negative 10 to bring down. So I bring down negative 10. So it looks like that. Okay, now I'm going to move my negative 15 over to here. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, they're subtracting, so I'm going to add it to both sides. So I'm going to add 15 on this side. I'm going to add 15 on this side. This gets rid of 15 over here. I bring down 2x equals now a negative 10 and a positive 15. Opposite signs, you subtract and use the sign of the greater absolute value. So it's going to be positive 5 because 15 minus 10 is 5. And the 15 has the greater absolute value, so it's going to be a positive 5. So now we have like this. We're almost done with this one. Okay, last step. Whenever you get to this point, remember, in an, excuse me, in an equation, we're going to divide by whatever is still with the x. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we're going to get x equals 5 divided by 2, 5 seconds. It does not need to be reduced. And remember, in algebra, we can leave it as an improper fraction, so that's okay. All right, are we ready for the last one, guys? Okay, let's go then. Last one. Okay, 46. X plus 2 plus 2 times x plus 3 equals 8x plus 2 times 7 minus x. So it looks something like this. And the first thing we should notice is we're going to need to do distributing on this side right here. But guess what? We also need to do it on this side over here. That's okay. We can do it at the same time. The x plus 2 is just going to come down. And because I don't have anybody in the front, I don't even need the parentheses for this guy. So I'm just going to bring him down like this, x plus 2. But now I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to do 2 times x is going to give me 2x. And then 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. Equals 8x. I'm just going to bring him down. 8x. Now I'm going to distribute with this one. 2 times 7 is 14. And then 2 times negative x is negative 2x. So that's what it looks like now. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to combine on each side. So we're going to combine on this side, then we're going to combine on this side. So over here, we have an x and a 2x. We put them together, they're going to be 3x. And we have a 2 and a 6. And if we put the 2 and the 6 together, we're going to get 8. So now we've brought that side down to this. Now we're going to combine over here. Over here we have positive 8x and negative 2x. If we put a positive 8x and a negative 2x together, we're going to end up with a positive 6x. And we don't have anybody else to put the 14 with, so he just comes down as plus 14. So now that's what we have. It's getting smaller and smaller. That's what we want. Okay, now we're going to combine our x's. This time, though, they're on opposite sides, so we have to do the opposite. We're going to subtract 3x from this side. That's going to get rid of it over here. And we're going to subtract 3x from this side. Now, on this side, that just gets rid of 3x, and we bring down 8 equals. Now, on this side, 6x minus 3x is going to give us 3x, right? 6 minus 3 is 3. And we're just going to keep bringing the 14 down. So now it looks like this. All right, now I'm going to put my numbers together, but again, I'm going to have to do the opposites because they're on opposite sides. So I'm going to subtract 14 from here, and I'm going to subtract 14 from here. Now over here, if I do 8 minus 14, I'm going to get a negative 6. 3x comes down. And on this side, remember, we got rid of the 14. That's why we did the subtract in the first place. So only 3x comes down. I'm going to move that over here so I have a little bit more room, okay? I'm just moving them over here because I'm running out of paper. Okay, so there we go. So we have negative 6 equals 3x. Still with me? All right, whenever we get to this point, we always do the same thing, and we divide by whatever's with the variable. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. And I'm going to put x over here. Remember, that's just kind of what they like in pre-al. All right, so x is going to equal negative 6 divided by 3, negative 2. And that's going to be our final answer. All right, guys. So you have your homework done. You do still have to send it to me. Sorry, because I have to see that you were working, but you got it done. All right. Anybody have questions before we go on? Hopefully, I'm going to see you guys here in about 20 minutes in history. Guys, is this working out okay for you time-wise? Like, I don't know.
Yes,
some of you, I think, have Spanish or something. Are we running into Spanish?
No.
Okay. Well, you guys tell me if we do, and we'll change times again if we have
we
to.
don't-
Miss Shriver.
We don't have a
Same
Spanish
thing on history.
Miss Shriver.
History, you know, gets in the way of somebody else's class, we'll move history too.
Who is this?
All right. I don't think anybody has questions, so I think we're good. So I will see you guys here in just a few minutes. Thanks, guys.